Well, so we need to hear more.
Can I participate?
Yes, sir. I'll bring the microphone to you. I'll give you 2 minutes, please. Okay.
My name is Peter Shin. I'm practicing law in the Flushing. Since I got tons of advice from the panelists and guest speaker, this is my obligation to share my thoughts. As we know, one of the Chinese scholars in mentors, he said there was a leader's characters, there was a 4 leaders' character to hold, to lead their society, their country. Out of 4, there was 2 important to me. One is the wisdom to judge what is wrong and what is right. Another characters the leaders should hold is to, when he violates some of the rules, they should feel that shameful feeling. The 2 important characters leaders should hold. As everybody knows that the Charles Darwin, in his natural selection and the origin of genes, he said in 1959, most animals in the world so selfish, they are born created as selfishness to survive in this the world. However, Charles Dickens he states, even though only there's a unique animal, the Homo sapiens has a cultural good things DNA. He calls it defined as memes. How do you carry out the memes throughout your next generation? He basically says you have to educate, you have to train, you discipline yourself. Your society is a good culture. He says good culture, good things. What he says that if one group of a society has more patriotism, more sacrifice, more morale, that tribe will conquer and will, when they compete with other tribes with a lack of such kind of a good character. Now let's go to our focus in Korean, especially on the first generation of Korean, but their characters. In 1921, one of the Japanese scholars who studied Korean and Korea, he said he found there was so polarized between the groups, we call it Tangpa, between the power groups, they was so polarized. In the Joseon dynasty, the general mentioned that the Joseon is a good meaning of that. In 500 years Joseon dynasty, we have thousand happenings and occasions who was sacrificed through that struggle between the parties struggles, power struggle. So he said one is so polarized character is one of the Koreans characters who hold it, and the other one is he said something is mixed up with what was personal, what is business. And the next thing is basically is honesty. It's a lack of honesty. However, followed by that the novelist Lee Kwang-soo, he is published in 1922 on the journal similar, what was a Korean ancestors to correct and change their character, pretty much similar. We have that Lee Young, one of the scholars in Korea who passed away in February. And he still mentioned that the same thing. We have so polarized, we have so selfishness, we have the 2 not lack of a certain kind of honesty. And we are polarized to division. So what I suggest, we have to continue to educate through the church what was our bad national consensus or characters, how we're going to correct through that education. I would suggest that we have to set up some watchdogs. There's many struggle and argue and conflict in Korean community, in society, small and big society, including church. We have to do how they operate, whether or not the law-abiding operation for that organization. Many of times I watch, they are not. Therefore, to integral part of American respectful society, we used to correct our undesirable Korean character, especially first immigrant who still carrying on that kind of genes. That's my opinion.